slideshow from the beginning. Slide. There you go, Professor. And yes, hello, folks, and welcome again. So, as always, I'm Jay here. So, again, about me, there it is. I've got all this stuff going on. You can just Google me and all that. So, I know that that's already there on the board for you. So, today is session number 14, our ongoing JavaScript Fundamentals, series. We have kind of taken care of many of the fundamentals of JavaScript, and now we have moved on to the Angular fundamentals. As always, every session here, my dear students, is a continuation of what came before that. So those of you who are just jumping in, I see a lot of familiar names, so that's good. Those of you who are just jumping in, remember to check the previous sessions and of course the ongoing sessions as well. Now, as always, at the session, I always share I have a one sheet document that I share in the beginning of the session, and then I share it again at the end of the session. So let me go ahead and quickly send that to you now. Remember, the chat messages, they disappear after the Zoom. So please go ahead and download the PDF right away if you're in front of a computer, or if you're on the phone also, I'm sure you can download it as well. So it's just uploading right now. There you go, you have it. Let me quickly open that file to give you a quick rundown what it is and what it contains. So there you go, folks. It is, the first thing is in the top, you have the main essential links, everything you need to start learning programming. Those are the main key links. And then, of course, if you scroll down, I have a session by session breakdown of what I have done in the past, okay, including today's session with the relevant, like for example, today I'm jumping deep into commands. I put a file specifically for this session, prepared for this session, like just for this session, and then the project code that will be used in the demo as well. So like that, there's so much stuff going on here, folks. So please remember to download the PDF, right? So that's item number one. So coming back then, so yes, so today we are looking into part 3 of our Angular section of the series. I already showed you the one sheet document, so that's already done. Right then, normally, not normally, like most of the time, I do pack in my sessions with a lot of content, and which means I'm usually moving at a fairly rapid pace. But today, for a change, I'm going to slow down a little bit, okay? So because the Angular commands is like a foundational thing, okay? Now, there is no easy way around it. When you are talking about frameworks, that's what we are doing here. We have to use commands. We have to use command line. So both of them can be very, very, how do you say, create some kind of apprehension, all right? Even if you are regularly coding and everything, there is so much that can go wrong. But of course, when everything goes right, you get a project. So first up, this is something which I've already shown in the previous session. So if I go here, I have the project, I have all these things, everything up and running here. So I'll go here and I'm going to go ahead and just say npm run start. I'll talk about that command in a minute. And this is a project you have seen before as well. So I'm just going to give it a second. Okay. And okay, there you go. It says it's ready and compiled successfully right there on the bottom left corner. And I click on this, it opens up. There you go. So this is our simple hello world project. You have already seen this in the previous session, but previous session, I was mostly just explaining and showing you things which are already built. Now, this is what we are trying to do, folks, in this session. So I'll be running a lot of commands, and I'm going to really slow down, and I'll do something which I don't do that much in these sessions, where I, like try to build something. So here, I think today what I'll do is I'll go and try to build this from scratch, okay? So that you should also be able to do this, not live, obviously, you gotta watch, you gotta learn and stuff like that. But after, once the recording is uploaded, I want you to be able to recreate these steps on your machine, because the next sessions are going to run on the assumption that you are able to create your own project. And that is an important step, because when you start practicing, when you start building the advanced stuff and things like that, which will come in the future sessions, you should be able to, you'll make mistakes, and then you should be able to start over, okay? So that is why I told myself, okay, this specific session, we are going to repeat, I'm going to repeat myself, and I'm going to slow down, because this is like an important juncture here. Everything that we have discussed till now is like a midpoint, and from here on, again, of course, next session, I'm not going to go like slow like this. I'll again start packing things and all that. But today, I'm going to slow down. So this is something which you will do properly. Okay. All right then. So what is happening? So in order to build this, we have to start using the command line. So let's go back to the PowerPoint here. The very first command I want to talk to you about is this one. So let's try to break it apart a little bit, understand what is happening. First, you have what is called as npm. We have seen this before because I run this pretty much every day when I'm doing JavaScript in every session. So npm is what is called as the node package manager. Now, those of you who are following along, you would have already installed this on your computer. Those of you who are jumping in right now, remember that one sheet document I told you about? Okay, so you need to use that link, and one of those links will show you how to set up NPM on your computer. And of course, as always, you know what I say, you don't have a question these days. You don't need to Google or anything. You can just use the AI. The AI service is still free. They should be able to guide you in the right process. So first step is npm is the node package manager. Now, before you can do the Angular, you have to ensure you have what is called as the Angular CLI. So again, hopefully you're making some notes there. It's called Angular Command Line Interface. Okay, so Angular Command Line Interface is like a command line, like npm is already a command line command. On top of that, we need some specific commands which are needed for Angular projects to be created and run and all that stuff. So that is where the Angular CLI comes into the picture. Now, one more thing before we actually try out this command is you'll notice that there's an @ symbol right here, okay? And then next to that, I have the number 16. Now, why is that important? So if I go back here and I search for Angular, okay, there you go. I have the Angular website. Okay, you'll notice on the top left corner, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit because I do have that option here. You'll see that it says that Angular version 20 is here. And then if I click on this, you have Angular version 19, Angular version 18, 17, and so on. There have been so many versions of Angular going all the way down to, I think version 5 is the oldest that is still available. So there you go, folks. So there are different versions of Angular. Now, this is another thing I'm sure I have mentioned before as well. In the world of software development, we have these version systems going on, like how you have Windows versions, like Windows. Right now, I think we are on Windows 10 or 11 or something. And then we used to have Windows uh, 8 before that. Yeah, I think now we are on Windows 11. So like the different versions of software become available. But in software development, what happens is we tend to use the one which has achieved some kind of a high level of usage and maturity. And that is really important for a learner. So right now, again, I do these training assignments for corporations. I do these training assignments for universities, and of course here in AIU and private tutoring and all that. So when I'm learning, especially when I'm teaching, I learn so much from my students, of course, and I teach students. We need to use the version which is like something that is used all over the place. There's a lot of helping material available online as well as from AI. So from that perspective, I currently, and even when you apply for jobs or anything like that, they are usually expecting you to use Angular 16, even though like 20 just became available, 19 is still there, 18 is still there, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we tend to use the one which is like widely used. So when it comes to software development, it's not always the latest and greatest. It's more about what is being used by the community, what is used by the companies to build their software and things like that. So in software, at least, it's not like you have to have the latest version. So please keep that in mind. Okay, so even though on the website it will say version 20, it just came like a few months ago, I think, what we are using in training. And again, this is not just me saying, again, in our office as well, we are really using version 16 for our training and so on. So please remember that. Now, why am I stressing on that so much? Because obviously, you're trying to learn from me, but this is only like a 45-minute session or something, right? So you'll still go ahead, Google or ask AI something. And that is where I want to become a particular here. AI will try to give you help and code from. There are so many Angular versions now. So a lot of times I've noticed unless you tell AI, hey, this is the version I'm working on. It'll try to give you code from 19 or 18 because it is newer. But the problem is, so much of code is same and different. The AI does not know which version it is trying to help you. So sometimes it'll try to give you code from Angular 16, and other times it'll try to give you code from Angular 18. So half your project is being built as 16, another half is being built as 18, and some from 17. So when you try to put them together, they will not work because different versions have different conventions. Some libraries might be missing or retired altogether, and new libraries may have replaced them. So please keep this in mind. This session, and of course, continuing sessions and so on. In general, when you apply for jobs and as well, 16 is the one which is going on right now, even though by this time it's almost 3 years old. So when you're talking to AI as well, you want to make sure it is 16. So when you try to install Angular, normally that at symbol and 16 would not exist, especially if you Google or go ask AI or something. So please remember to specifically mention that 16 is what you're going to install. And this has happened to me so many times, despite me stressing this multiple times. Students, maybe because they're new and so on, they will still forget the at 16. I don't know why. I always put it there. Still that happens. So please remember, it's npm install -g space at angular /cli at 16. So that is what you have to do. Now, this is one command I cannot show you on the screen right now because I already have it installed on my computer. So this command, I'm just going to assume that you will try it yourself after the session, and hopefully it'll work for you as expected, as long as you have npm running on the computer. Now, npm also, one more thing I've noticed is if you go to the npm website right now, so we'll go npm, there it is, npm. Okay, for this one to work, you have to install what is called as node.js. So there you go. So here also there is some confusion about the version number. So just go ahead, go to Node.js, and you'll see you have two versions here. The latest one, again, see, this is the point I'm trying to make. The latest one, Professor, it's a little bit small, so let me try to zoom in. Yes, sir. So are you able to see this one? So the drop down. So you see that they're saying the current version is 24. Yes, sir. And then they have in brackets 22, which has something called LTS. And then again, if you scroll a little bit down, you also have something called 20, which also has the same word LTS. Yes, sir. So these are things, Professor. What they're trying to say is the current version, the latest and greatest, is 24, but LTS means long-term support. So 22, as well as even the older one than that, 20, are actually the one you should use for daily usage. So that's the point I'm trying to make, Professor. So when you're talking about software, please go to the version which is mature and widely used. So for example, on your machine, you're trying to install, sure, it makes sense for you to install version 24, but not really. You're going to try to install either 22 or 20 for the sake of learning. So if I were taking my opinion, I would just install 20 on the machine, although installing any of them would be just fine. So that's another thing to remember. So when you install Node.js, npm will automatically come on your machine. So something to think about before you want to try this specific command. So before you can try this, remember to have npm and node. Now node and npm come together. Just install node and node. We have done this with those who are doing my steps from the day one. You would already have it, but those who don't know, like, just stressing this, because you might try to do this command directly, it's not going to work, and you'll be like, oh, what just happened? So there you go, guys. Sorry for stressing so much on that, Professor. This is like the most important slide on my PowerPoint, and I promise I won't spend so much time on a single slide, in the next slide or something. Okay, so anyway, so assuming this command works, I can't show it to you right now because my computer already has it. So there you go. So let's move on then. So the next version is there. Okay, here it's very straightforward. This I can show you. So what I'll do is, okay, let's go ahead and start then. So I'm going to go to my folder, and I'll create a new folder. Right, I'm going to go to my desktop, and here I'm going to say new folder. Okay, so this is for today. So I'm going to call this one AIU Angular Demo August 5 2025. So again, this is one of the small things I do whenever I'm creating a folder. I make sure to give it a longer name which has as much details as possible, because you're working on so many things. You can't always remember what you did and when. So I always try to give appropriate titles. I hope students will also do this. So there you go. So this, the moment I look at this folder, I know that this was created on August 5th, 2025. It's an Angular demo for the AIU session. So it's a simple thing, but it really does go a long way in helping you become organized as a developer. Okay, then. So now I have this. The next thing is I need to get my command prompt. I need to get my terminal to try this command. The first command, as I mentioned before, I cannot do this again because it's already installed. So I'll not try this. So you'll have to try this yourself. But the next command, yes, this I can try. So I'll go here. I'll right click in the folder and you'll see right away I get this option called open in terminal. So we are good there. So you're getting terminal. Now, if you don't get this option, then you'll have to go the roundabout way. You have to search for CMD on your machine and then open that as well. But most of the time in Windows, you right click on an empty space inside your folder, you should see the terminal. So I'll take the common option. So now I have this. Another benefit of doing this way, instead of firing it up directly like this, is the terminal opens in the exact folder that you want it to be. So again, one of the small little details that I wanted to focus on. So if you open directly like this, I'll do that right now. See, it opens somewhere in C users Vijay. I don't want to be there. That's not where I want to create the project. I want the project to be created here in my the folder I created just now, which is AIU Angular Demo August 5, 2025. So there you go, folks. So try to do like this instead of firing it open directly. So right then, so let's go ahead. What is the command then? So it's ng version. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Now what this should do is it should tell me almost immediately what is the version of Angular that I'm using. So there you go. So once I do this, you get some colorful graphics or something. But what I wanted to focus on is, I believe I have marker option on my laptop. So let me use that. Professor, do you see it here, sir? 16.2.16.
Very well.
Okay, there you go, Professor. But at the same time, Professor, as I keep telling, you'll see that my node is actually 22.14.0, and it keeps telling me that it is unsupported.
Mm.
At the same time, just a few minutes ago, when I went to the website, it does mention to me here, oh, the marker, let me just get rid of it, that if I go here, it does say that 22.18 is the long-term version. So again, something to start noticing about these things, Professor. So what this really means is it's trying to say that the version number 16, for whatever reason, it's trying to say that, okay, it doesn't really work with 22.14. However, I'm building all the projects and doing all my training with this. So if you see that, I've seen some students panic. Again, that is why I'm emphasizing on that. Don't worry about it. As long as you have these supported, like the LTS version of Node.js or even the current version, you should be okay. But the most important thing is, please remember to have version number 16 of Angular, because that is what we are using for this training, and that is what we'll be using in all the future sessions as well. So if you get this, that means this command npm install was properly done on your machine. So that is the whole thing here. So make sure you get something like this on your machine when you do ng version, and it should be 16 point something. It can be 16.1, it can be 6.2, it might become 16.3 tomorrow. That makes no difference. As long as it start with 16, you are on the right track. So let's keep going here then. So next is our command line command to create a brand new project. So this is what we are really here to do. How do you set up or create a new project? So all framework, including Angular, they'll give you some kind of way to create a new project. So this is where it all begins. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to come back to my command line. I know for sure the Angular here is working. So what is the command then? Ng new hello world. Okay, all right, here we go. So I'm going to say ng, then I'm going to say new, and then I'm going to say hello world. All right, but I'm gonna make sure that there's no such thing as hello world in this folder. So just to avoid problems, so it is a blank folder. So I'm on the safe side. So again, I'm emphasizing on this, all kind of beginner mistakes is, if you have practiced this command many times, then you may already have a project called hello world. So what do you do then? So I'm going to show that right now. First, let me create one project. Okay, so remember this command, it'll ask you some questions. It says, do you want to add Angular routing? Yes, you should. We are going to do some routing, not today though, but in the future. So we'll say yes for this. Okay. And it's going to ask you what type of style sheet do you want to use. So we have touched upon, HTML, CSS and all that. So we do want to use CSS. The other options, SCSS, SASS, LESS, I'm not familiar with it. I'm not an expert in or anything. So I do know CSS is what I'm familiar with. So I will stick to CSS. So there you go, folks. And now it's going to try and create and install all the packages. So you can see that, right? It created all these folders and now it's installing all the packages. Now, this is another area where I ask my students to be very patient because I'm on a very high speed internet. So it's really, really downloading everything and installing everything really, really fast. But that may not happen to you. Sometimes I've seen on my student computers and all that, even in universities and everything, where they have good internet and everything, it can take about 5 minutes, about 30 seconds, sometimes even 10 minutes. So for me, yes, it should happen really fast. I can already see that everything is happening as fast as I expected. But on your machine, you want to be patient, especially if you're on a slow internet. So be very patient. So again, right now we are waiting for it. Professor Walken, I'm just gonna drink some water, sir. So let me just do that, sir. Oh, it's done. Oh, it's done. 1 second, sir. I'll just drink some water.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as our SME is taking some water, he's been working very, very diligently. I want to remind you, you are with Atlantic International University in our live class series. Thank you again for your attendance.
Okay, Professor. Yes, sir. Thank you for filling the dead air, sir. Thank you. Yes. Okay, guys, let's get back here then. So I created the project now. Now, remember what I told you when you're practicing, you're probably going to keep creating a lot of projects. So remember, all you have to do is, again, a small tip of mine is just press the up key and all the old commands will come back on the screen. So if you're practicing, just figuring things out, all you have to do is, one step, of course, you can just go back and delete the folder. But instead of doing that, it seems silly, but all you have to do is add it to. That's it. It's a very silly trick. So when you're practicing, you want to create many, many projects. Hello world 2, hello world 3, hello world 4, like that, okay? Or if you're practicing every day, then what I like to do is I do something like hello world, and then I'm going to say August, and today is 52025. Okay, now if I'm practicing tomorrow, then I'm going to come back and say August 6, 2025. So that way, all the work is there, and then you don't run the risk of creating a project and then replacing it with new project because you forgot to use a different folder. A very, very silly thing, but I've seen a lot of students do it. So again, stressing on that. And as I mentioned, going a little bit too detailed today because yes, this specific video, yes, all the videos are important, but this is where you really build a project. So just going a little bit deeper there. Okay, my project is created. It says everything. Now another thing to notice is you'll see that it says packages are installed successfully, but I do have a bunch of warnings, a lot of them actually. Okay, now it has some information like what is that warning, something about LF being replaced by CRLF and all that. Please don't worry about it. In general, when we are programming, whether it is JavaScript or .NET or anything else, a lot of times you get these warnings. You can really just ignore them for now. So yeah, we're just going to ignore them for now. It's not going to affect your final project development. So we'll leave it as it is. So next step is I have the project folder now and I have my project created. So I'll close this. I'll see that the folder has been created. So now I want to open this folder so I can run it and see how it looks. Only when your Hello World project is running as expected can you actually go and try to add or create something with it. So let's do that, guys. Let's make sure this is working just fine. One more thing, folks, because I'm doing live, I've rehearsed like every other session. And you know what? I even have made a small diary here where I have kept all the commands and exactly what I have to do. Every step I write it down, like a flow chart or something. Still, something unexpected could happen and things may not go as expected. So please don't judge me if something like that happens, Dr. Walson. So if something goes wrong, then please let me fix it. If I can fix it live, I'll fix it. Otherwise, I already showed you the project in the beginning. The product is already built. I'll just use that to continue my session. But I really think I've rehearsed enough. Everything should go as expected. So let's try that. So I have my hello world here now. So there you go. I've opened it in VS Code. That is good. First step is I need a terminal because once again, I have to run a lot of commands. So I'm going to go to the top here, terminal, and then new terminal. Okay, there you go. Then what is the next command? I'll go here, and the next command is npm run start. So once again, we are inside this one, and you want to do npm run start. So there you go. So it should run. Again, we'll try to do some building and all that. It says port is already working. What does this mean, folks? That's because you see in the beginning of the session, I told you that, okay, what we are going to build and all that, this is what we are trying to build. Okay, so it's already running. You can see on the top left corner in what is called as a port number. So when you try to run a website, it tries to run in a port number. So right now, this is already running on 4200. So what I want to do here is it's trying to ask me, hey, do you want to run it in another port number? And I'm going to say yes. So same thing will happen to you when you're practicing. You may have multiple projects running. Again, don't panic. Just say yes, and it'll automatically use a different port number. It's going to take a while. Again, it depends on your laptop, how fast or powerful it is. It could take 10 seconds. It will take 30 seconds. It will take 5 minutes. Just be patient. Just wait for it. Okay, it's done on my machine. There we go. So you see that the number has changed again. It says 59127. So I'm going to control click on it. And there you go. So it says this is the home page. Dr. Watson, are able to see that, sir? Yes, Dr. Watson is nodding, so I'm going to assume everybody else is able to see it as well. So
Everything
this
is
is the
clear.
welcome page. Yes, Professor. Yes.
Okay.
Professor, did you say something, sir?
No, I wanted to say everything is clear. By the
Okay.
way, if you allow me to remind everybody to,
Yes, sir.
the flow of information from Professor J is very demanding. So if you have any questions, please, let's wait for the end for the questions. Don't try to interrupt the process. Thank you very much, Professor J.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I always stay extra minutes anyway. So I think we're good there. Yes, sir. Okay. So coming back, folks. So this is the welcome page. Now, for me, in any kind of development of project, when you see the Hello World project, the welcome page is when you know you are on the right track. So this is, a lot of times what happens when you're learning programming, getting the first page itself can become very, very tricky and challenging. Okay, so remember to do each and every step in the exact same order. I see this happen with a lot of students. They will not, for some reason, they always try to remix, or try to take shortcuts and things like that, which you should do. You should do. Yes, being a developer means you must take risks, you must try new things. But when you're learning, at least, especially the first time, please follow the steps as it works. Okay, because otherwise you may not get the desired output. So you try to do something extra, you actually lose out on the basics. So please do exactly like this before you try your own things. And the welcome page is actually very interesting because it gives you a lot of these links which you can use to understand. Like, for example, if you want to learn and go deeper into Angular, there you go. You have a documentation. Again, if you want to learn more about the Angular CLI, so again, you have a lot of CLI and everything. So again, if you want to learn about Angular material, it's like, CSS and things like that. There you go. Again, you have a lot of stuff here. So there is a lot of things going on in the welcome page itself. So after the session, if you suddenly become very excited and you feel this is really cool, or as the sessions progress, you want to go deeper, then definitely all the learning, links and everything is already available on the welcome page. And you'll also notice that a lot of these things are very, very tiny. Like if I zoom in, you can see them. But this is something we are talked about in programming. Everything is really, really tiny, with tiny buttons, tiny text, tiny this, tiny that. At this point, I know, especially the regular students, I can see their faces as well. So you're used to it. But those of you who are new, get used to it, because that's really how programming is. Like, look at this VS Code thing. Okay, let's go back here. What is this? Everything is so small. Even everything is hidden, every icon. There are some 100 buttons right in front of me. Now, for me, it's not overwhelming. For you, it might be overwhelming, but the more you spend time, you will get familiar with it. And with all these windows, see, I'm just doing a simple session. Already I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 windows open. And it's just in Hello World session. I'm not even coding anything. So get used to it, folks. Okay, all right then. So come back. So what is the next thing I want to do here? So let me go back to my project. So I got my hello world working. So next thing, yeah, this is the welcome page. You should see. I put that in the PPT as well. So there you go. So you should see this welcome page. That is when you know clearly in the top that hello world app is running. So there it is. If I go back here, 100%, I can see the number here 59127. Your number, on your laptop could be different. I'm getting 59127. It's a random port. If I see this, and I do see this, so I am on the right track so far. So let's keep going. What other commands do I have in store for you? So next thing is I want to go ahead and do what is called as install bootstrap. Okay, now this is where I expect not everything to go as planned, but I am going to try anyway because you should also do this on your computer. So next thing is we need bootstrap, guys. So what happens is I mentioned this before as well in the previous session. So for all my programming, whether it is Angular or React or Vanilla JS or .NET, Razor, I always use this library called Bootstrap, and I think I've done multiple sessions on Bootstrap in the past as well. So the first step you need to do in your Hello World project is to add Bootstrap to it. So there are detailed steps to do this, and now the things are so complex. I actually wrote down all the things I have to do in my diary. I mentioned this before as well. When you're programming, you have to use a learning diary. It can be a physical notebook, or in this case, a digital notebook as well. So look at all these steps, guys. So I have something called as npm install bootstrap. Okay, I have another command called npm install bootstrap icons. So far, so good. And I have a third thing called npm install bootstrap popper.js core. So I need to go ahead and install all these three things right away. So I'm going to go ahead, copy this one. Okay, there you go. npm install bootstrap. And I'll go to my terminal. Okay, my terminal is here. And here what happens is your project is right now running. So before you add more things, please remember to stop the project. To stop the project, you have to do Control C. You know what? I'm just going to type it here on my PowerPoint. In fact, I think I should just make it a new slide right now. So I'm going to go here and remember to stop the project. Before adding new packages or anything else, please use Control C. Okay, I'm just gonna put that there because I've seen some students, they do get confused. I don't blame them. It's a lot of things to remember. So after you run your project, if you want to install Bootstrap, first step is you have to stop the project. So I'll go back here and I'm going to say, you can see here it says compiled successfully, it is running, Angular live development server is listening and all that. So I'm going to say Control C, and immediately you'll see that my terminal is back. And if I go back here to my website, which is running here, if I try to reload, it will say it is no longer running. So there you go. It says can't reach the page, which is fine, by the way. But before we can add anything, code anything, it's best to stop the server. So that's what I have done. So we'll come back to this in a minute. So I'll go back here. Now, what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to add three things. I'm trying to add, where is my diary? Okay, my notes, npm install bootstrap, npm install bootstrap icons, and then npm install bootstrap popper.js core. And that's what we are trying to do here. So let's go, and I'm going to say npm install bootstrap. Okay, so let's go and press enter. So again, depending on your internet speed, it'll take a few seconds to install. I'll wait for it. Okay, that looks good. Next is the next command, npm install icons. So let's do that. Okay, again, a few seconds. You'll see some warnings, severity, moderate, and all that. Please don't worry about it. It's perfectly normal in the world of Node.js to see those warnings. Nothing to panic, nothing to worry. Last one here. Okay, there you go. So these are all libraries which make Bootstrap work. So they should be added. It's very standard in any Node.js project like Angular projects. We add the packages that we need. So it's a long list. It is what it is. So now I have installed all those things, guys. So next what I want to do is, so here, when I come back and I run it again, okay, it says 4200 is already, so it's fine. I'm going to say, okay, use a different port. It's building, it's building. Oh, now it's changed again. It's 59933. No problem. I'll open that. 59933. So what I want to do here is, if you look at my example project that I started showing in the beginning of the session, which is here. So this is what I'm trying to build, guys. So I'm trying to replace, so let me put this on one side. This is my original one, the one which I started in the beginning of the class, and this is the one I'm trying to build right now. So I have this on the right side. This is the default page, and I have this on the other side, and that is the what I'm trying to build. So let's look at the main things here. So on the center area, I have like a welcome page, right? And then the top area, I have like a simple menu, okay? And finally in the bottom, I have like a very basic footer thing going on. So let's try to build that. I'm not expecting any errors or anything, but if some error does come, please do, I do apologize, if this doesn't work as expected, because there are a lot of moving parts here, and sometimes there's always something you'll miss out. Of course, if I'm not doing it live, I'll figure it out eventually, like what's going on. But live, sometimes things can go wrong. Okay, so let's give it a shot then. So I have this. So once again, I want to add the home page. So once again, Control C, stop running the project, and go back. And what I need is, I need the next command. So if I go here, let me take the PowerPoint. There we go. Control C. Let's go and resume the presentation. And the next, okay, I'm installing the icons, I'm installing the popper.js code, all done, all done. Now I want to generate a home component. Why? Because I am trying to build my home component like this. So I want to take what is on the right side, which is given to me ready-made. I want to take that and convert that into what I have on the left side. So for that, I need a home component. So let's give it a go. So I'll go back to my code. I've stopped running the project. And the next command is ng generate component home. So let's break it down again. It's a new command that you're seeing for the first time. So ng, as always, as you saw in the previous slide, ng is used for Angular. So anytime you're doing something specific to Angular, you have to say ng. So that's what I'm doing here as well. Now, sometimes you'll see npm. So that has nothing to do with Angular. It is from Node.js. So do not let this confuse you. npm is for Node.js related things, whereas ng is for Angular related things. So in any kind of framework like Angular, both of them are working together. Node, three things actually: Node, npm, and ng. So all these things work together to give you a website. So here we are doing something Angular specific. So we're going to say ng generate component home. So that's what I'm going to do. So ng generate component home. Okay, so again, it's really slowing down now, because these are the steps I really want to drive home into your mind. Okay, there you go. So no errors so far. Okay, I'm very happy. So when I did that, you see that it created one, two, three, four files and updated something called as the app.module.ts, which is perfectly fine. So what is the next thing I have to do? So I'm going to just look at my notes here. So it says I have to update what is called as a routing module. So I even have a link here. So let's give it a try. And in fact, what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit, because you may want to try this on your machine as well. Now, please remember, guys, this is where that PDF I sent you becomes extremely important, because if I go back to that PDF, right, just to make sure everyone is on the same page, let's go. Yeah, right. The PDF is here. Now there, you see that link there. Let me just zoom in. This is the link I'm using. So if you go to this one, it opens up. All right. And if you look here, now what I'm doing is I need to go ahead and check this file called app routing module.ts. So I'll come back here. I'll go to source, and I'll go to app, remember app, and then routing module.ts. So things can get very complex here. So just letting you guys know, please remember this, that PDF. I hope you downloaded it. Again, at the end of the session, I will send it again, but just repeating it again and again. So now we have, this is file, this is the file I want to look at now. So I'll go back to my project. This is my project. On the left side, once again, going to src source, going to app. So far so good. And here, very carefully, I want to go to the app.routing module. So far we are on the right track. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and add the path to the home component. That is what we are trying to do here. So I'm going to take this path very carefully. I'm going to zoom in so you guys know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to take the path. Remember, the file is called routing for a reason. It takes care of the path where your browser loads. Okay, so let's take that and come back. Now I see that I already have a routes variable here, so that's already there. I simply need to put the path inside the root. Okay, you don't need to create it brand new. Really slowing down here, doing it very carefully, very slowly, so that when you watch the recording again, you're able to do it. I'm getting some notification. That's all AI. Just ignore that for now. Okay, now I put it there. Everything is fine, but I do have a red line. It says the home component does not exist. Obviously, because I've created it on the left side, guys. If you go here, you'll see here on the left side, I do have a home component, but it's not yet imported into this file. So see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go to the top, press enter, really slowing down. Again, AI is trying to help me, but I don't want to take the help. I'll type it by hand today. So I'm going to say import, and then I'm going to say home component. There you go. Now this one is not AI. This one is just IntelliSense. I can use that though. So home component, there you go. Now, Professor Watson, I hope you noticed, sir, the red line is gone now. There you go, sir. The red line is completely
I
gone, which
got
means
it.
the component. Exactly, sir. So the home component is now completely attached to the path, so that is looking good. So let's keep going here. So now if I check my diary, it says two more things have to be changed. You look at that, I mentioned very clearly in my diary, like I said, guys, even though I've done this like dozens of times, I still need my diaries just to let you know how complex these things can get. So first thing is done. Second thing, it says I have to go to app.component.html. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'll go here. On the left side, I have app.component.html, and this is something that I want to do now. I have something called app navbar. I have something called main class. I have something called router outlet. So right now I don't have a navbar. I don't know if today we'll have the time to show that to you. However, I do have the time to show the main part. So I'll take only the main part, okay? And I'll take the main part, I'll go to my app.component.html. You see all this is all the stuff which is already given to us. But in my example project, I don't have that anymore. So which means I have to get rid of all these things. It's gone. And I only need just 3 lines for now, which is the main class, router outlet, and that's it. So 3 lines only to get my home page working, because I have a separate home component now. So then the next thing is, so once again, just checking my notes, I have to also update the styling in amp component.css. So once again, on the left side, I'll go to CSS. There you go. I have some basic CSS here. So don't worry about this. Just use this for now. It's okay. I'll take this, I'll go back to my app component to CSS, and I'll put this here. So that's looking at my diary then. So these are the things I have to do to get this working. Generate a component, which is this step here, step number one. Step number two, I needed to update the routing, the red line and everything. We took care of that. And then I had to update my component as well. It had a lot of things. I removed all that. I decided to use what is called as an outlet. Okay, so far so good. And then I go here and I have something called as app.component.css. So I have this much going on. So let's see what happens, guys. So I have this. So again, despite so much of rehearsals, anything can go wrong, but I think I've done everything correctly. So let me try this, running it one more time. So I'm going to say npm run start. Okay, all right, it should work. Okay, it says port is already in use. That's fine. I'm going to say yes, press y. Okay, it's gonna build something. I'll wait for it. No errors so far. No template errors. Yes, okay. Now it's changed to 60493. That's fine. It's okay. And there you go. Professor Watson, do you see that on the top it says homeworks?
Homeworks. Yes.
Oh, there you go, sir. But again, it's very silly. But you see, sir, just to get this. See, before, just to go back to my PowerPoint here. Hold on. See, this is what was there in the before. Now, I don't want this anymore. So I want to replace this with my own stuff. So just to go from this to this, I had to configure so much of things. So that's the that's the point I really want to make to the session here, guys. So if you're getting this, then you're on the right track as far as I am concerned. So a lot of steps, a lot of steps, a lot of steps. So you may have to go back and forth, slow down the video or something. So that is the situation here with the homework. So, but I don't. What I want to do is I want to try one more thing. I think we have. Let me just take 5 more minutes here, Professor, and then we'll stop wherever I stop there, and I can continue in the next session. So I don't want to leave it empty like that. So what I'll do is I'll go to my home.component.html. I do have some stuff going on. So what I'll do is I will go to another website. I'm just going to say W3 School. Yeah, I think this some student might remember. Every now and then I'll go to W School. So what I'll do is I'll go to the CSS thing, and I am going to this one. Yes, there you go. So what I will do is I will try and see if I can take this. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna take this one and I will come back to my project. I'll put this like this. Now another thing, let me see how that looks. Okay, okay, all right. So it's better than that simple thing. So again, very simple, just to show. So what I did, folks, is I was able to grab some HTML and CSS. So instead of just calling it my first CS example, let me just change this to AIU session about Angular. And then if I see here, I'll be like, okay, hello, Dr. Watson, sir, how are you? I'm just typing it, just to. Okay. So there you go, folks. So now what happens is, Dr. Watson, sir, I want to bring your attention to something, sir. Now see what happens, sir. Now focus on where my cursor is, my mouse is, and I press enter. And you see, sir, every time I type something, you see in the bottom, something is happening, sir, like compile, compile. Do you see that, sir?
Yes.
So that is something that I want students to understand. So when you are working with a framework like Angular JS, it has what is called as automatic save and rebuild as you type. So as you're typing it, you don't have to keep stopping and running it every time though. So sometimes you're adding packages, you're creating files, making major changes. Sure, then you have to do Control C and then resume. But if you're just focusing on the files, the code, not adding packages and stuff, then you can just keep coding. And as you're coding, the compilation will happen. It's so fast. I don't know if the camera is able to capture it, the screen recording. I hope it does. So I think Dr. Watson, you're able to see that, sir. Like I'm adding a line
Yes.
here, it compiles, 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 compiles. I'm just taking some lines from AI, sir, but I hope you get the point here. It compiles. So, and as I do that, it gets updated here. There you go, sir. So this is the part I was talking about. So let me just show you one more time. So I'm just going to put it on the right side. I go here to here, and here I'm going to say, okay, not this one, hold on. I'll go to the top here. Yeah, hello, hello, hello. I'll literally type it here on the left side. It's like, do you see this? Okay, there you go, Professor. So that's another automatic rebuilding feature. Very useful when you're building big projects. If you get an error, you get it immediately. If the output is working fine, again, that also you're able to see it immediately. So there you go, Professor Watson. I did have, I'm not able to make it look like this yet, but I think we should leave that for the next session, sir, because yeah, this itself is taking a little bit of time. So there you go, folks. So before I hand over the session back to Dr. Walson and questions and stuff, so this is the main thing today. As I mentioned, let me just go back to my PowerPoint. I'll resume exactly from here in the next session. Today, what we did was I focused on the Angular commands, the whole NPM thing, CLI, and then the version checking. Very important. You must make sure you're on Angular 16, guys. And then of course created a new project, understood what happens, and then finally how to run it, and then opening it, what you're supposed to see, and then how to install these packages, bootstrap and everything, how to stop, and then of course installing additional packages, and finally generating a hook component, doing all that configuration